Oh, I think I overdid it with the smoke machine a little bit. Oh boy. Welcome to the KaiCreative YouTube channel. My name is Kai, and today we're talking about the epic cinematic chess B-roll. So this little short was inspired by the Queen's Gambit, which is currently a mini-series on Netflix, and that story is about a young orphaned girl called Beth Harmon who works her way up to become this master chess player. And I really thought that the cinematics and the storyline in the Queen's Gambit were amazing. Don't worry, if you're not interested in chess, you will be interested in chess after you watch that miniseries, so I can only recommend you go and check it out for yourselves. And here in London in the UK, we are all in lockdown 2.0, which means that we are all stuck at home. So another great reason to do something like this. So of course, you need to have a chessboard, which I've got down here, and I actually didn't own a chessboard before, so I bought a semi-decent quality one off of eBay. This is actually just my filing cabinet here with a piece of wood that I've stuck on top to kind of simulate that look of a chess table, I guess. So I have a G1S LED light that was kindly sent to me by Pixel, just a standard softbox light, just kind of lighting everything from above. I'm using my Amran aperture light here with a blue gel on the top, and I have just a standard smoke machine down here. But I think I got the extra smoky smoke machine fluid because this room is really just smoked out at the moment. Just a black matte background to kind of hide all the mess that is currently in this office. And I think for some of the movement as well, I'm just using this here, which is my newer slider. Costs you a couple of pounds, a couple of bucks on eBay. Not very expensive at all. What do you think of my Borgov suit, by the way? Very retro, 60s, grey and brown. The camera that I'm filming with today is the Canon EOS-R at 1080. I'm going to upscale it to 4K in post. I'm shooting everything at PAL, 50 frames per second. The reason I'm not doing NTSC is because of these lights here. If I film stuff at 60 or 59.95, whatever it is on the NTSC setting, then what I get when I interpret that at 24 frames per second is this really bad flickering across the screen because of, you know, UK power, stuff like that. So I'm shooting everything at 50 frames per second, which I will then interpret down to 24 frames per second. The Canon EOS-R doesn't go any higher than that, which kind of is a bit of a letdown because, you know, you've got the Sony cameras that shoot at 120. Obviously, the higher range Canon cameras do shoot a lot higher than 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second is not bad. It is usable almost. And the lens that I'm using is the Canon 16 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 EF-L lens. And of course I'm using an EF-RF adapter onto the EOS-R. And the reason I'm using that focal length is because we're in quite a confined space. So being able to shoot at 16mm is really quite useful. And the aperture of 2.8 again is really useful in this kind of light setting. Whoa! And the smoke machine adds a lot of grain, cinematic atmosphere to this. So I think it looks quite cool. So just a quick word on camera movements. 50% of the shots were done handheld and the other 50% were done on the newer slider, so more controlled, zoomed in and zoomed out shots. A lot of those whip pan kind of in-camera transitions had to be done quite a lot. And if you can think about having to direct a 4-year-old to continually do the same chest movement, can be a little bit difficult. But all in all, I think Nia did a great job of me just telling her to do the same move over and over again. I'm sure I drove her insane just telling her to move that same chess piece over and over again. So many of you chess players out there will know that the Queen's Gambit is actually an opening move in chess where you want to try and control the middle of the board, primarily through moving your pawns into the middle of the board. And you will notice that we actually started our cinematic chess B-roll with a knight movement. And the reason I did that really was because I just liked it. We did it as a test shot just so I could teach Nia how to move the pieces. We did a version with the pawn as well, and I just don't think it worked as well as it did when she moved that knight. So that's why I used that as one of the opening moving shots. So quick spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the series already, skip past this part, but this is actually the setup. This chessboard setup is the setup that's used in the final episode when Beth Harmon beats Borgov, and all she does is move her king one space to the left, and Borgov looks at the setup and he realizes that it's game over. She's beaten him, she is the world champion. And I really loved that end scene. I just thought it was amazing, and that's what I'm trying to capture in this kind of mini quick B-roll cinematic setup. Okay, so what I'm actually trying to do now is do a time-lapse of the actual game that was played. So a lot of the B-roll we've done so far had nothing really to do with the playing of the Queen's Gambit, but going online and actually finding somebody who has broken down the actual game, which the end game of the Queen's Gambit was based on, and going through those moves, I want to do a time-lapse kind of to put in the middle of the epic B-roll shot that kind of has those pieces moving according to the actual game. So half of this video is trying to get the cinematic side looking right, and the other half is trying to be accurate according to the film, and it's kind of mixed together. From that YouTube video that I saw, I was able to get a list of all of the moves. I got this kind of nice section near the end, towards the end of the game, where there was a break in the game, where Borgov offered the draw, and I feel like just a quick time lapse of those moves could work really well. So that's what we're going to try now. So what did you think of our epic cinematic chess game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, guys, do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell for notifications. All that's left to say is thank you for watching, stay creative, stay safe, imagine, implement and inspire, and I'll see you next time on KaiCreative.